In this video, we're going to take a look at another really nice EDC flashlight from the folks at Olight, the S1A baton, that's coming up on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose. My name is Brian. Thanks for joining me. So, the folks at Olight World USA were kind enough to send me one of their S1A baton little AA flashlights. And before we get started talking about this, by the way, I'm here on the back 40 behind the high-tech testing facility here at Survival on Purpose Worldwide Headquarters. And my thermocell is MIA. And for some reason, this seems to be a prime landing spot for mosquitoes. I don't know why, like about right here, I'll look at the edit video and I'll be like, wow, there's a mosquito right there. Why didn't anybody tell me? So if you guys see me looking over at the viewfinder here on the camera, that's because I'm looking for mosquitoes on my forehead, okay? Anyway, I digress. Imagine that. So anyway, again, the folks at Olight World USA were kind enough to send me one of these. And I got to tell you, this is take 2 on this video because for some reason I had some data corruption or something going on, and it was locking up iMovie badly. I had like 4 videos I shot one day and they all screwed up. So I don't know what was the deal. Maybe it was the SD card I was using. So wow, I am rambling again. So anyway, this is a flashlight that runs either on a AA battery or a 14500. It has a maximum brightness of 220 lumens with the AA battery and 600 lumens with a 14500 rechargeable battery, which I need to get one of those, I guess, because more and more lights are using them now and I don't have any. So you're not going to be able to see the 600 lumen shots when it gets dark, but 220 is pretty bright for a little light this size. Anyway, let me tell you real quickly about the specs. The old stump top right now is bathed in extremely harsh mid-morning light, so we're gonna I'm gonna stay back here in the shade as much as possible. So this light uses a Cree XM2 LED, and then the lens I think is really cool, and it is a Olight signature TIR optic lens, and I'm trying to get this where to focus where you can see that. You see that little bump in the middle? That's really and truly is a little bump there. So the lens is not flat, it's kind of convex down into it, and then it's got that little bump there. And what that does, it just absolutely smooths out the light pattern, gives a really good spread of clear, usable light. And I don't know how they came up with that, but it works really well. And that's one of the things I really like about Olight is their light pattern is just extremely usable. There's no hot spots or white spots or dead spots. It's just a nice clear pattern, especially for an EDC type flashlight that you're going to use a lot for all kind of general use. I just think that's a very, very good feature. One thing I like about it is that it comes with an Olight lithium battery already installed, and this thing has different run times and based upon which battery you use. It comes with a removable pocket clip which it clips on this way, and you can use it on a hat, like to make a little headlamp out of this or whatever. It's got a side switch button here, which I like because if you're going to use a flashlight like this, you don't have to reach back here and hit the tail switch. And then what I do is I just turn my pocket clip around like so I can index, and right there it is. Because even though this is kind of rubbery and it definitely feels different, it's still, if you're searching around, it can be kind of a pain in the neck, at least for me. So I know I can index my thumb right there next to the clip and turn it on, and there we go. Okay, so the S1A baton is IPX8 waterproof, which means it's submersible for a pretty good period of time, and it is also 1.5 meter drop rated. We'll take a look at both those features and test them out in just a minute, for the second time, by the way. So let's talk about the specs real quickly. The S1A baton is 3.12 inches long by 0.826 inches in diameter. For those of you still firmly stuck in the metric system, that's 79.5 millimeters by 21 millimeters. Weighs just 1.32 ounces. I'm assuming that's without the battery because different batteries weigh different things. These lithium batteries are very lightweight, or 37.5 grams. So that's kind of the technical specs on the thing now. So let's talk about the levels real quick, and then we'll get to doing some of the high-tech testing and let it get dark. So first of all, features a moonlight level, which is 0.5 lumens, and to get the moonlight level, you just long press it while the light is off, and it comes on to the moonlight. Again, that's 0.5 lumens, and that's going to be good for 25 days with a lithium ion battery, 20 days with an alkaline battery, and 15 days with a rechargeable lithium ion battery. So depending upon what battery you got is what your light length is going to be, which makes total sense to me anyway. So to access the other modes, you click it one time, it's going to come on. Oh, one more thing, it has a memory feature, so whatever level it was on last, it will revert to that when you turn it on. In this case, it was on the moonlight level, so we turned it off, so it's going to stay on the moonlight level. So I know I have a tendency to make things more confusing than they are. So basically, it's got a memory that takes it back to the last level you had it on. If you had it on Firefly, when you turn it back on, it's going to come on Firefly. Once you start cycling through the modes, it will no longer cycle back to Firefly. It's going to cycle to low, medium, and high. If you want on Firefly, you got to turn it off and long press it again. Does that make sense? Not too complicated. That's just one of the features of it. So anyway, the low, we'll just cycle back to the low. Okay, so the low is 5 lumens, and it's good for 80 hours, 75 hours, or 60 hours, depending upon what battery you're using. Hold down one time, cycle to the medium. That's going to be 50 lumens, good for 10.5, 4.5, or 6.5 hours, depending upon batteries. And finally, you cycle one more time, it goes to the high. So when you get to the highest light levels, there's something I need to clarify. This thing has a thermal protection circuit in it, which is going to drop the voltage after it gets, to keep it from overheating. So with the high, with the AA battery, you get 220 lumens. After the thermal protection circuit kicks in, it's going to drop it down to 110 lumens. So the reason I'm explaining that is because the times are a little bit confusing if you don't know that. So on high, 220 lumens, you get 220 lumens, and then it drops for 110 minutes, and then it drops down to 30 minutes. And that's with the lithium battery. With an alkaline battery, you get 12 minutes of high, and it drops down to 110 for 80 minutes. With a rechargeable lithium ion battery, you're going to get 100 minutes of 220, and it's going to 10 minutes of 110. Don't ask me how all that figures out. I'm not an electronics guy. But if you have a 14500 battery in it, you get 600 lumens for 1 minute, and then you're going to get 300 lumens for another 60 minutes. Did I make that confusing enough? Bottom line, when you get it on high, when it starts to get hot, it's going to drop down to half the brightness. So there you go. Another thing I think is really cool about this light is it has a built-in timer feature. So if for some reason you want to have your light on and have it turn off at a certain time, whether you're camping, you want to use it for night light in your tent and have it go off if you go to sleep or whatever, which I think is a pretty cool idea, by the way. When you turn it on, if you click it twice, you see it flash like that one time, you got a 3-minute timer. In 3 minutes, it's going off. Click it twice again, and it flashes twice. You got a 9-minute timer. In 9 minutes, it's going to turn off. So that is all the features and light levels of this thing. So what I thought we'd do is, I've dropped the heck out of it already. It's not beat up too badly. We're going to do that again. We'll give it the old dunk test, and then we'll let it get dark, and we'll wrap this thing up. We are at the high-tech outdoor testing facility at the Impact Evaluation Station. We're going to just drop this thing. It says 1.5 meters, which is going to be about right here, but this is survival on purpose, right? You just take it up here. There's one. Okay, let's drop it on the old butt there. Oh, that was solid, baby. Now the old TIR optics lens. Let's give it a shake. Here we go. And then just one more random time. Okay, so as you can see, it's still working just fine. We'll still cycle through and everything. And let's turn it off. And really not as beat up as some I have seen. So a pretty tough finish on this thing also. So this thing is IPX8 waterproof. Let's go take a look at that. Okay, so here we are in the Survival on Purpose Submersion Evaluation Assembly. And, ooh, man, I need to put a little chlorine in there. So we'll just go ahead and see what time it is. It's about 11:25. Hopefully you can see that. We'll go ahead and turn it on to low there and just drop it in the water. Close her up. We'll check on her in about 30 minutes or so. Okay, it is now 12:25 on account of I forgot about the flashlight. So let's pop this bad boy open and see what we got in there. And looky, would you, looky, it is still working. So there you go. Now let's let it get dark. Okay, obviously it's dark now. First we'll take a look at the Moonfly mode, which is 0.5 lumens, and long press the side switch. And my hand's about a foot from the camera, and I've got the light about 6 inches from my hand. And you can really, the camera's not picking it up very well, but I can see it pretty well with my naked eyes. This would be plenty to read by or to look at a map without really totally screwing up your night vision. The next level is going to be the low, which is 5 lumens. And you can see lights up pretty good. And actually, as we look at the looking at a bench over here, we'll get you down to the bench there. And that's about 5 feet away. You can sort of see that pretty well. It's a lot better again with my naked eyes. For whatever reason, the camera's not picking up really well tonight. The next level is 50 lumens for medium. Hold it down one time, go up to 50, and that is pretty stinking bright. And again, it shows up really, really well the beam pattern on this Olight is just really good. It shows it really well with my eyeballs. And then we'll go to high, which in this case with the AA battery is 220 lumens, and it's just really, really bright. And that's the kind of close-up shots. Let's take a look at a little bit of a distant shot here going out to the old outdoor studio. Okay, so as we get down to low, first of all, you really can't see anything. So we'll take it to the medium. You can see there's a really good spot on the grass, and it's very bright. As we go on out into the outdoor studio, you can sort of barely see it. And we hold it down to the turbo at 220, and it does a really good job of lighting up. And again, the beam spread on this thing is a lot better in the real world than it looks like on the camera, but it's definitely lighting up a big spot of the backyard, and I can see really good with this little bitty, very tiny pocket-sized flashlight. So pretty good. That is the nighttime shot of the S1A baton. How many push-ups can Chuck Norris do? All of them. Okay, well that was a quick look at the S1A baton from the folks at Olight. And I gotta say, I really like this little light. I think what really sets it off in my mind is this TIR optic lens. It just does a very, very nice job of spreading the light out. You got a really clean, even usable light pattern, and that's important for me because on an EDC style light, because I use my flashlight literally daily. Oh, one thing I did not show you, this thing has also got a magnet in the base which allows you to stick it on stuff. I'll put a link to Olight World USA below and an Amazon link where you can purchase this if you would so desire. Once again, thanks to the folks at Olight World USA for sending me this so I can show it to you. And as always, thank you for watching Survival on Purpose. Thanks for subscribing, thanks for clicking that thumbs up, and for sharing this video with all your friends. And thank you so much for doing all your Amazon shopping through the Survival on Purpose links. And I really appreciate the support. Once again, my name's Brian. You're watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival's not an accident, so be prepared. I'll see you next time. Okay, here we are. Oh man, don't look at the light, Brian. 600 lumens with a 14500 battery. Hopefully you can see me because I can't see anything right now but a big old spot. This TIR optic through TIR. Focus, Brian, focus. And I'm really going to quit saying really. Oh.